A lot of Vikings fans are wondering if the Minnesota Vikings are going to make a move and put Ty Chandler as the starting running back to kind of take or be the workhorse in that backfield other than Alexander Mattison, because Mattison, yeah, he only has 2 fumbles this season, but he's lost them both in crucial moments. I mean, Alexander Mattison really hasn't been a great running back. He's been okay. He's been decent. Like last week, I think he had a pretty good game other than that fumble. If he doesn't have that fumble, I think we're looking at this a whole totally different way, because Madison, 86 some yards on the ground, looked phenomenal. But there's one guy that sits behind him, and that's Ty Chandler. And a lot of us are wondering if he's going to be that workhorse, right? Because what we seen last week out of Ty Chandler and what we thought we've seen basically the last couple of weeks, I guess, out of him since that Cam Akers injury is that, hey, this guy can step up and be the number 1 running back for this offense, because Alexander Mattison just doesn't have, that fire. He doesn't look like he's running hard. He's just following his blockers. He's going to do what the play tells him, and he's not going to make something happen with his feet, where Ty Chandler is going to try to make something happen with his feet. And last week, look, Ty Chandler averaged more yards per carry than Alexander Mattison. I think that's been the case every time he's touched the ball. Last week, I think it was like 7.3 yards per carry for Ty Chandler compared to like 5-something for Alexander Mattison. Now, granted, both of them, get first downs if you give them the ball a couple times, but 7.3 is a little bit better than 5. Am I right? I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But Ty Chandler also has better ball security. Okay, he's a better pass catcher. The only thing that he's not better in, at least in my opinion, and probably what the film is saying and what some of you fans have seen, is pass blocking. That's Alexander Mattison's job. Pass blocking, protecting the quarterback. So, is it Ty Chandler's time to be the leading running back in Minnesota, or are we just going to see an increase in workload? Now, an article on Star Tribune or the Star Tribune dove through what we're seeing out of Ty Chandler and what the possibility of him being the workhorse, the number 1 running back in that backfield, or even just an increase in workload would kind of look like. So let's get right to it. Now, it says, has the time come for the Vikings to turn the backfield into a Ty Chandler-led committee? Well, Chandler led all skill players in Sunday night's loss at the Broncos with 110 yards from scrimmage, showing the 4.38 speed he flashed in the 40-yard dash, as well as he needed patience and vision behind some inconsistent blocking. Perhaps the most important stat to a coaching staff, fighting a league-high 14 lost fumbles, Chandler had zero fumbles. Running back Alexander Mattison lost his 2nd fumble of the season, again, during a 1-score loss like the Eagles game. Now, Chandler is gaining trust from Vikings coaches by making plays and refining the nuances of his game, which could lead to an even bigger role, right? Now, Mattison led the committee with more touches, 19-14, and more snaps, 48-23 in Denver. Here's what Wes Phillips, the offensive coordinator, had to say just yesterday. I think both of those guys getting some carries is a good thing. Okay, right? Now, love to see Ty get in there and make some plays, not only in the run game, but in the pass game as well. You're seeing when he's touching the ball, some good things happen or are happening for us, even in the special teams game. So I think that is going to continue. Now, can Chandler's grow into being the lead runner? Here's what Wes Phillips also said. He's shown that he's making plays, and we're going to continue to try to get him touches. What that exactly looks like going forward, we'll keep talking about. Now, but we're going to try to get him some touches and make sure he's a part of it. Anybody who's going to go out and make plays for us, okay? If you're going to make a play for us, if you have what it takes, you're going to get the ball one way or another. It's just going to happen in this type of offense. He also followed up with saying he's grown tremendously, right? That's the thing sometimes with a young player. You're seeing kind of the finished product over a year and a half of really learning the position, learning the game, learning the NFL. He's always been a talented player, and we always knew that about him, right? But it's different paths for everybody, a.k.a. like Johnny Manziel, supposed to be a superstar, future Hall of Famer, turned into be a boss, right? Every path is completely different. Now, sometimes you can look back and say, why wasn't it happening before? We got to be ready to trust someone to put in the game, and sometimes when you're a rookie, it's tough, right? You're coming into the league where terminology is way different, a lot more scheme, a lot more details. Everything is just completely different. So it's harder to trust a rookie than a vet that's been there even just 2 years, even just a year, because he knows that system now. He's been in it, right? So it's a little tougher. Now, Chandler has bided his time while trying to refine the nuances of his position. Some as basic as lining up in the right place to more complex details, such as identifying the correct defender to block and pass protection, which he still has to work on. Now, he had one bad pass pro rep at the end of Sunday's loss that was critical, but he was largely solid in backing or blocking for quarterback Josh Dobbs. Here's what Phillips said. He stepped up in there and was on the right guys this week. You just keep building trust that way. You keep building opportunities. Chandler is also building trust as a ball handler. He's had just one fumble in a game. That was in 2021 for North Carolina. During his last 541 touches on offense, which is 454 in college and only 48 in the NFL regular season and 39 in the NFL preseason, he had only 4 fumbles in a 5-year college career. Ty Chandler protects the ball. He makes plays happen with his feet. Okay, he ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. That's fast. Okay, it might not be fast as some of you guys would think, oh, that's not as fast as Devin Achan. Well, who cares? He still has speed, and he runs like a bowling ball, who basically has a ton of spin on it, and it's just going to curve around anything, and he's going to strike it. You know, it's just going to be perfect. Ty Chandler makes things happen, or at least tries to make things happen with his feet, and that may be because, you know, he's a backup in the NFL. He's a second stringer right now. He was a third stringer. He really hasn't had the opportunity, so he's going to give everything he has. But if he continues to do that, I think you have to look at Ty Chandler as potentially taking over that running back spot, because Madison, it's been the same old thing every single year. He's really good when Dalvin Cook was the starting running back. He was really good when he had to come in to fill in for a player or two, had a couple decent games, right? But he's not a franchise starting running back. That is plain and simple. Like, that is the eye test. That's what the eye test is telling me. Madison is not a starting running back. It's just what it is. It's how the game goes. He's a good running back on third downs and maybe pass protection and give him the ball every now and then. But we need somebody to make something happen, especially when our team has been injury riddled and we have to make a push for the playoffs, maybe even a push to win the division, which is still, I think, up for grabs. Like, the division could be decided the last 3 weeks of the season when we got Detroit, Green Bay, and Detroit back to back to back, right? So I think we have to look at Ty Chandler as increase in workload. He's not going to be the number one, okay? It's going to be a lot of what we've seen out of Cam Akers the last couple weeks before that Achilles injury, getting more and more and more snaps compared to Alexander Madison. Madison may start the game, but I think eventually Ty Chandler is going to take over take more carries, take more reps, be in there more opportunities, stuff like that. I think Ty Chandler's workload is going to increase in the coming weeks because of what we've seen on the field. Otherwise, as it stands right now, it's going to be running back by committee, who has the day, who has the hot hand, and we'll kind of go from there, basically. But Madison, as of right now, is going to be the number one. I think it should be Ty Chandler. I think you should give him the opportunity to be the lead running back and see what he has in store. But for right now, you need to increase his workload, and Ty Chandler definitely is capable of being a pretty darn good running back for the Minnesota Vikings and potentially a future starter for our team. So you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you want Ty Chandler's workload to increase? Do you want him to be the starter this week or maybe next week or whatever the case may be? Let me know your thoughts in that comment section below. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great happy Thanksgiving. Eat a lot of turkey, stay safe, and have fun. Okay, just have fun. That's the main thing. Have a great rest of your night, folks, and Skol Vikes.